In the still of the night, I think of you. My heart beats with every thought of you.
That was how Uche found her 2 hours later, asleep on the bed and shivering because she had forgotten to get under the duvet. He sighed with relief. He had gone to the room he directed her to, just to check on her before going to bed. It was alarming to find her not there, and the same emptiness greeted him in the other rooms. So he had rushed in here to check, and there she was shivering. He slowly lifted her and covered her with the duvet, and she didn't wake up, but snuggled close to him. He climbed in beside her and drew her cold body into his, and she fit him perfectly. She would be the death of him yet. It was going to be a very long night. He sighed and closed his eyes. Mma could feel someone kissing her lightly. She knew instantly it was Uche. She put her hands around him. Uche sighed. It was morning and he was dressed for the day. He was trying to wake her, but instead he found himself almost falling into the bed. Mma slowly opened her eyes and saw him dressed. She blinked back her surprise. "Good morning," he smiled. "Good morning. This is not the third room by the left, is it?" she asked him shyly. He smiled. "No. Somehow you ended up in the right room. Hope you slept well, because I did very well. I am not superhuman." "Oh, I didn't realize I should have slept in the third room. I'm glad you slept here. It felt real good watching the sunrise on your face and knowing I'm the only one who could see that." She could feel her emotions rising to the point of tears. "I love you," she whispered. "I love you too," he said. And she prayed with all her heart that it would always be like that for both of them. She saw his bag already packed. "When is your flight leaving?" "In about an hour." "I thought you had other things to do before that." "I changed my mind. I've asked her to be at the airstrip in 45 minutes, he said as he sat at the foot of the bed to wear his shoes. She panicked instantly at the thought of the woman joining him, the beautiful star, whom he was going to spend the next 2 weeks with, but she quickly cautioned herself. She trusted this man, and he had proven that he could be trusted beyond measure. "I should get ready. I want to see you off." "You have 15 minutes?" he told her over his shoulders. "Yes, sir," she said, putting her hands around him. She kissed the top of his head and got out of the bed. With Uche's departure, Mma turned into a walking zombie. She missed him so much. If not for his nightly telephone calls, she didn't think she could have survived the loneliness. To keep herself busy and distracted, she concentrated on her work, working as if it was going out of fashion. The results were great. The dresses she was going to exhibit were all ready. Modeling agencies had been contacted, and soon it would be rehearsal period with the models. She still didn't have the girl who would model her masterpiece. After getting all that done, she could concentrate on her wedding dresses, but she was too tired to continue. She yawned tiredly, resting her head on the sewing machine. Her engagement ring sparkled and she sighed again with happiness, remembering the very first time she broke the news to Tessie and Felix. Tessie wouldn't stop bugging her with wedding plans. She had taken over the planning and had just completed the guest list last night. Mma shuddered as she remembered Tessie was coming to discuss it with her. It was not as if she didn't appreciate her efforts, but she thought that Uche's family should be consulted and included in the plans. The problem was, none of them had asked for updates on the wedding since the dinner party. She made a mental note to call Eva later in the day. Maybe the two of them could have a drink together. "Why don't you go home and rest? You've done enough for one day," Helen, who was working equally hard, said, interrupting her thoughts. Truly, she had been working too hard. She couldn't remember the last time she had a decent sleep. Recently, it had deteriorated to sleeping on the couch in her studio at home. Last night, she worked till the wee hours of the morning, completing her masterpiece. Soon she would have time to work on her wedding gown and all the other dresses she needed for her wedding and honeymoon. "You are right. I know I have been overdoing it. I will go home and get some rest." Wise choice. Or Prince Charming will be disheartened at the sight of this pale face and those baggage under your eyes, laughed Helen. "I don't look that bad, do I?" asked Mma, alarmed. "No, you don't. But if you don't take time, you will." "I'll go, but I have to meet with Tessie. She said something about guest list." "Let her meet you at home, Mma." We don't want a tired bride on the 27th. That's a good idea, but get those girls started on Petal's woman's order. Meanwhile, I'll go home and start on my wedding dress. You can't be serious. I thought you said you were going home to rest. Of course, but after I must have rested. Helen pretended to think about it for a while. Well, you can always dream of Prince Charming. That is what I call an unhealthy habit, laughed Ma. I don't have to mark out a special time for that. I hardly think of anything else as it is. That reminds me, I have some of those exhibition invites to give out personally. Helen looked up. Don't tell me that all the invites have not gone out. They have, but this one is special. It's going to Uche's mom. She's going to be a special guest. Just imagine how surprised everyone is going to be at her presence. When they realize you are getting married to her son, they would understand. You are such a killjoy. You don't have to remind me she's coming because I'm wearing her son's ring. Without her son's connection, I strongly believe she would have considered coming. She might be ruling the world, but here in this city, you have a reputation. I definitely hope she would be impressed with what she would see. Talking about shows, have you found a model for your masterpiece? I don't like any of the models I've seen so far. I want someone with an innocent face, who would look virginal in flowing white. I'm sure you will find someone soon enough. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Go home when you like. You have been working hard yourself. Oh, don't bother about me. There is no man to be dismayed by my pale face. You are incorrigible. Don't worry. When you meet Chuck, it would be my turn to tease you. Ma, surely you did not take me serious. What would a man like him see in me? His last girlfriend was the most beautiful girl in Nigeria. That was the same thing I told myself when Uche asked me out. But look at the story today. He makes me feel like I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. Oh, but you are beautiful. Those eyes and figure would get any man interested. But I am not as endowed like you. Come on, you sound pathetic. Anyway, I've come to realize that it's not the pretty face they are after most of the time. Love has nothing to do with the way you look. Until then, it's my turn to tease. Helen laughed. You just wait for your turn. Mma left the studio after that. As she came down the stairs, she saw Felix looking worried and immediately she was alarmed. What is it, Felix? She asked, stopping in front of him. Nothing, just meditating. He gave her a bright smile. If you are sure, she said, walking past him, but an office assistant stopped her. Excuse me, Miss Mma, the girl said to Mma nervously. She smiled at the girl to ease her nervousness. It seemed to work because the girl spoke. Miss Helen said to give this to you. You forgot your phone. Thank you, she smiled at the girl. Immediately the phone began ringing. She moved to Felix's office to take the call. Hello, Eva. Hi, I've been ringing your cell phone but nothing seemed to be happening. Oh, I'm sorry, it must be network. Are you too busy to take my measurements? Measurements? Mma asked, confused. For my wedding gown, but I thought the wedding is 2 months away. Charles and I might marry sooner. Please, honey, I know you are busy, but I won't get the time to do this again. I'm traveling, and when I get back, it will be wedding plans, pleaded Eva. Alright, why don't you come over to the house? I was just about leaving for the day. Oh, thank you, you're such a darling. What a day. You should have insisted she wait, said Phyllis with concern. I feel worse. Let's just hope I'll find time to do shower and food before she comes. Mma reassured him with a smile. Give my love to Tess. As soon as she got home, she dropped her bag on the bed and stripped herself of her clothing and went for a shower. She felt refreshed almost immediately. Then she moved to the kitchen in search of food. She decided to have a proper meal, boil hot water and make a bath. She sat on the stool waiting for the water to boil, but the doorbell rang and she went to open the door for Eva. Mma unlocked the door, but to her greatest astonishment, it was Angela standing on her doorway. What are you doing here? Mma asked icily, but groaning inwardly. May I come in? Without waiting for an answer, she brushed past her into the living room. Nice place you've got here. Uche seemed to be getting as good as he's giving, isn't he? Some of us actually work for our luxury, Mma replied, pretending to be bored. I know you like to feel like an independent woman. One would wonder why an independent woman would snatch another girl's boyfriend. Mma heaved a sigh. If you have no reasonable excuse for coming here uninvited, I suggest you leave my house immediately. Is this how you receive visitors? Or are you by chance expecting a lover? Since Uche is out of town, that question seems rather out of place. Oh, I can see what Uche sees in you, but let me tell you some home truths. You will soon tire him, and he would come back to me. He always does. Mma caressed her ring and Angela got more incensed by it. This is one time he's not coming back to you. I have him exactly where every woman wants him, including you. You fool. Once he gets tired of your body and the newness, why don't you let me worry about that? I shall bear my heartache gracefully. I shall not descend as low as following him about and warning off his new girlfriend. She smiled sweetly at Angela. So long, Angela. I have wasted enough time with you. Mma went to the door and held it open for her. Do you honestly think Uche is faithful to you? You and I both know how virile he is. What makes you think he will remain celibate? And for how long, in a country where there are lots and lots of free women? That shows how little you know him, and certainly nothing about his virility. How naive and stupid you are. I told you he can't stay without me, and it took only some days away from you for him to realize it. She rummaged in her bag and brought out her passport. He invited me to stay with him. See, this is my flight ticket. Mma felt her heart give a painful lurch but disguised it with a smile. Why you, as old as you are, put yourself through this heartache over a man who has pledged himself to another is beyond me. I know Uche did not invite you, but as is your practice, you chase him all over the world. Why go to a man who is getting married to another girl? That is what I could never answer, Eva said, joining them. I see. Always inviting other people to fight your battle. Angela faced Eva. Not other people, Angela. We are family now. She smiled at Mma. We will see who will be family when I come back with Uche. Still chasing him all over the world? Are you not tired of that strategy? Surely if that style was going to work, it would have worked a long time ago. You will see, Eva, that I hardly give up. She put her passport back in her bag. Oh, that's not news. Keep trying till hell freezes over. You will regret this, little girl, she said to Mma, moving to the door. I hear you, old woman, Mma said, closing the door after her. Then she leaned on it, drained of all energy. Is she always like this? That is Angela for you. She has always bullied any girl Uche happens to be interested in. Doesn't she ever date? Or has she even dated someone else? She has her lovers, but she hides them well. She is always dating poor men who wouldn't have any say in the relationship. So she would be free to run after my brother. Thankfully, I am not easily scared away. That is the spirit. Because no matter how much any other girl bullies me, I am not letting go of Charles. Lucky men. I hope they feel the same way about us. I thought you told Angela as much just now, Eva reminded her. Deep inside, we all have our doubts. Uche is a man of the world. He has seen it all. Sometimes I can't help wondering what he sees in me. Couldn't have been for my beauty. He has dated beauty queens before. Was it Miss World? There is no way it could be for my money. That idea alone is absurd. Sophistication? He sees that every day with the women he works with. So what is it? Why don't you ask him? Oh, I have. He doesn't seem to know, except that he loves me. You have your answer then. You shocked him when he started feeling for a woman again. Maybe he can't lay a finger on what is it about you that got him hooked on you. But he loves you, and that is for sure. What else do you need to know? Love and trust conquers all fears. You are right. Look at me boring you with my fears. If you'll come with me to the studio, we'll get this over with. Nonsense. I wasn't bored. Besides, what are families for? At the studio, Mma took Eva's measurements. She was impressed with the girl's statistics and height. She took a good look at her oval face and big eyes. This was exactly what she was looking for. Innocent, wide-eyed beauty. What about the bridesmaids? Asked Mma. They are all size 10 girls, if that would help. I can't assemble them now. They are all at different parts of the world. It will help. I'll fit them later. I was just wondering how I'm going to achieve all this with my own wedding coming up too. Don't make me feel bad. I am sure you'll find a way. Mine is still some time yet, so there's still time. Not if you count the amount of time my honeymoon is going to take. I plan to have a very long honeymoon, Mma smiled. But you can still do it, can't you? I happen to be your favorite in-law. Mma laughed. Yes, I guess so. Eva looked relieved and asked, what size do you wear? I wear size 6. Good mercy! No wonder you are so slender. I wanted so much to be a model at one time, but now I'm very satisfied with what I am. Mma saw Eva studying her body, especially her midriff. And you wonder what my brother sees in you? This very tiny waist with grand curves, and I am sure you are a D-cup, teased Eva. I too wonder about that, having such rich bosom while being very slender. Not that I wear a D-cup, come on. I seem to recall my brother has always had a thing for slender D-cup girls, said Eva mischievously. Now I understand why he doesn't want Angela. She has little or nothing up there, and the two girls laughed. If you care about eba and oha soup, I am game, said Mma going to the kitchen. If this is what you wear around the house when my innocent brother comes calling, no wonder he's so hooked on you. That is the general idea, replied Mma dishing the food. Eva left shortly after the meal, leaving Mma to her thoughts. She began to clear the table, though Eva had opted to help, but she wouldn't hear any of it. Then suddenly she was filled with this airy and foreboding feeling that her wedding might not happen, that something tragic would stop it from happening.
In the still of the night, I think of you. My heart beats with every thought of you. You're the